I grew up in the projects here in the South Bronx, and there were a bunch of older guys who were doing it, like 73, 74, they were doing it, and I was just like, oh wow. I was going to high school in the city, so I would take the subway, and I was like watching the subways. I just saw this, and I just gravitated to it, and I just started adding my thing to it, and that's as simple as that. My dad and my mom were like founding members of a church. It was in the summer, and there was there was a preacher, and I'm in the back. I'm 10 years old. I'm just captivated by what he was speaking about, and the entire church, like the whole church. I mean, I'm still getting goosebumps. He was just on point. Whatever, I don't remember. It just spirit just grabbed a hold of me. I was just wailing. I'm like, I just felt it. You just feel his presence, and it wraps around you, and it's just. And I left the church. I left the church that evening. It was on a Sunday evening, and I was just like, I was not the same person. I didn't know what it was. So that Monday I was getting up early, and I was on the bus, and I was just like overwhelmed by his presence. I was just overwhelmed, and I'm in camp, and and I'm like, there's no cell phone. I don't know who to talk to. So I'm at camp. I come back, but I was never the same. But if that would happen today, I'm like, no, I'm not going to camp. I need to speak to someone because it happened. So I live with that for the rest of my life, not knowing. And then God called me in 2001, the summer of 2001. I was all over the place. I say this to people. I was either on the verge of dying, or I was going to be taken out. Something was going to happen to me. And I say that now because I see it, but I was flying all over the place. I was flying around the world. I was killing myself, man. I was just doing everything possible to do work, to be blah, 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 blah. I got into my car, turned the car, and I'm driving. And all of a sudden, I just lost my breath, and I came to really quick. I'm driving, and I pulled the car into park. The car went into the sidewalk. I came out, and I'm bleeding through my mouth. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I got back into my car, drove home. We go to the hospital, and they give me medication. Listen, just you're going through an anxiety issue. We don't know what's going on. This was 2 weeks before September 11th. All right, so I'm home. I'm drawing. Minding my own business. I get a phone call from a friend in Boston. Yo, do you see what's going on? The attacks occurred. I'm like, oh wow. 2 days later, I get a phone call from my therapist. He can't see me anymore because his wife died in one of the buildings. So now on this medication, you have to see a therapist to talk it out so that they can remove you off the medication. I'm like, okay. Now what do I do? So one of my sisters calls me. Listen, a therapist was a pastor. I said, okay. Go see him, he's really cool. So I called him up, I set him up to see him. I started walking, I came back to God, I repented, so we're going through this whole thing. And he starts prophesying. I'm not going to any church. I decided to be a knucklehead, and I told God, all right, so it's gonna be me and you. I don't want any churches. Because I grew up around churches, and I've seen the stuff that goes on. I've seen pastors have affairs. So it's just me and you. So God's laughing again, an idiot. So my wife winds up finding this church, really cool church uptown, and we're gonna start going to it. So the therapist comes, we sit down, he says, listen, you didn't have a nervous breakdown. God said, enough of what you're doing. And he grabbed you by the ear and said, no more. See, because when you're saved, you're always saved. And you want to be stupid, he's going to let you be stupid. Like scripture says, when you want to carry on and do all this stuff, cool. Go. Be the worst you could be, whatever. And he was allowing me, unbeknownst to me, he was allowing me to do all, to be arrogant, to be this, to be abusive. And he said, done. Now it's my turn. Now this is what we're going to do. I'm like, what? What? And yeah, and it's been an amazing walk. Haven't looked back. No medication or nothing.
We came up to him with like a proposal to paint 10 cars inside and out and let it run in like the major stations.
And let people vote on it, like let's say during a 2-week period. And after the 2-week period, they'll have, the results in the paper. And I think the MTA will be embarrassed.
Yeah, I got in trouble with that.